What's up, gaming heroes, and welcome back to another awesome World of Warcraft video. Dragonflight is here, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing my thoughts and feelings about Dragonflight, the launch, and everything involved. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons. I really appreciate all of the awesome support here on the channel. Check out erosiumtv.com for your latest and greatest awesome World of Warcraft guides. We've got loads of Dragonflight guides coming soon, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. But without further ado, let's get into the video. If we're honest about it, Dragonflight is absolutely fantastic. The game in general is just really fun. There's no real way to say it's not fun, because it is really fun and enjoyable. The questing is fantastic. However, I'm not going to gloss over the simple fact that last night's Dragonflight launch was possibly the worst launch I've experienced in World of Warcraft in 18 years. I always expect a certain level of delay by, 10-20 minutes because of, just the sheer amount of people trying to access the servers. However, Blizzard have had 18 years to figure this out. The company as a whole has made over $16 billion. I'm not exaggerating here when I say they should know better, and they should have sorted this by now. I don't think I can continue to have Blizzard's back and say, oh, Blizzard, fantastic company, World of Warcraft, fantastic game, when they can't even do a launch correctly. They can't even launch the game as intended. They can't even afford to, well, they clearly can't afford to, jokes. They can't even bother to get decent servers for the launch of Dragonflight. It's absolutely a dying shame the way that Dragonflight was handled last night. And it's just really disappointing in general to feel like I try my best to promote this game and help people enjoy this game and be positive as a content creator. And then I come in and it takes me 90 minutes to actually log in to the game. I started stream 15 minutes early, just before the start of Dragonflight. And then I was sat there for 90 minutes trying to access the game. For others, I actually got into the game relatively quickly. For others, they didn't. For many US people, they didn't have a problem. Many US people didn't have a problem, which I thought was very interesting. Very interesting that the EU had such terrible problems. Evidently, they needed to upgrade those servers. Evidently. And they didn't, which is an absolute crying shame. It's a typical thing of rushing the game. And what we said about rushing World of Warcraft, it never works. That's why Shadowlands was an absolute shit show. And I'm not going to lie, that launch really demotivated me to play the game. And I didn't stream all the way to 70 as a result. I just stopped because I was like, you know what, 65, it is what it is. And I just went to bed for 3 hours. Got back up, I started playing again, and then I started to record this video. But generally, I know I'm going to be pretty chill about it after a little while, but I wanted to record this whilst my feelings were fresh on the matter, just because I really think that Blizzard really dropped the ball on this one and let down its audience members. Because at the end of the day, we are the consumers, and if we were at a restaurant and we ordered some food and it took 90 minutes to come, you would be absolutely livid. So why are we holding Blizzard and World of Warcraft to a different standard? It's absolutely terrible, to be honest. They did not fulfill expectations of releasing the game at the time that they said they would. And so many people who wanted to stay up and play couldn't as a result. And I just don't think that's the right thing to do at all. I think they should have had that sorted. It really wouldn't have taken a great deal of thought to come up with a good release strategy, and I just feel like whoever's in charge of that is a fucking idiot. To be honest, and should be fired 100% without a shadow of doubt, because they did possibly one of the worst launches in World of Warcraft history. So not only were we waiting, but when we were all ready for the boat to arrive, and there was a timer on the NPC that said 5 minutes left, at the end of the 5 minutes, what happens? Go on, ask me what happens. It says, unknown, time unavailable, because they bugged out the game. Okay, so what do? They closed the servers, the world servers, so everyone had to keep logging in and staring at a loading screen, not even being able to play the game, being actually stuck at a loading screen and watching it on 75% the loading screen for about an hour and a half. At that point, if you were one of the lucky 10% you actually got in to be able to play World of Warcraft. If not, tough. You couldn't play, and that's the way it is. That is just the way it is. So after all of that, and you actually eventually get into the game, instead of climbing on a boat and then sailing across the seas towards Dragon Isles, what do you think happens? Oh, the boat's not working. The boat is completely broken. Okay. So what do? Oh, just stick a portal there. Stick a portal in. Okay, cool. So they stick a portal in. And what do you think happens? Of course, the player base trolls. Of course they troll. So, naturally, people that couldn't get through the portal, what do? They ruin everyone else's fun. Naturally. Makes sense, right? So they get on their massive mounts and they stand on top of the portal, making it extremely difficult for other players to click on the portal. Blizzard didn't do an anti-mount rule, so therefore everyone else was struggling to get into the portal. Luckily, I brought my camera all the way in and just spam clicked straight in front of me, just moved my mouse around until I eventually got in. However, I was in the Discord with nearly 20 people who were all struggling in that situation, and it was an absolute shit show. When I did eventually get to the Dragon Isles, I was one of the first people to actually get in, because, I don't know, maybe I just got lucky, maybe Blizzard got me on some special priority server, I don't know what it is. But either way, I got in a little bit earlier than other people, did a few quests. One of the quests instantly logs you out or disconnects you for some reason. It is what it is. Generally, this was a really clunky release of Dragonflight, and it's very disappointing to be affiliated with a game when they do something like this. So it is what it is. But I want to move past that now, and I want to get in more into, because you know I've had my tirade now, I've had my crying, bitching and moaning. I've even swore a couple times in this video, which isn't even like me, but sometimes I feel like you just gotta say a swear word to express how you feel. And at the end of the day is exactly what swear words are there for. They're not there to be used left, right and centre. They're there to express yourself on the occasion, and that unfortunately is one of those occasions. So all in all, what do I think of Dragonflight? I absolutely love the game. The questing alone feels 1,000 million % better than Shadowlands ever felt. With Dragonflight, the difference is when you are going about and questing, you're doing lots of small storylines. Whereas in Shadowlands, you're basically always permanently on one quest, which is, you know, the anima drought. So what we're going to do to help the anima drought? Oh no, there's an anima drought. What we're going to do? That was pretty much Shadowlands on a whole for each of the covenants. With Dragonflight, it's different because there's the way they've written the quest lines are there's lots and lots of individual, all-inclusive small storylines that you are greatly impacting by completing this quest or this quest. And so everything that you are doing feels like an all-inclusive story. You're getting through a lot more story because you're not just worried about this end goal that you don't really care about. So it's a lot more interesting on a whole to do the quests for. Now, I'm sure there's some naysayers who are like, it's not that great. But, you know, design a better game, bro, and then you can talk, all right? Until then, pipe down. Genuinely, though, I really, really like it. I do have to say that I think it's silly how some people have forgotten how MMOs work. So Blizzard naturally designed a main questline that gets you from level 60 to around level 66. However, it expects you to do side quests along the way to help people to get involved in the story. So you're not just one of those people who's like, right, tick this box, tick this box, tick this box, and that's all you do. You know, it wants you to be more inclusive in the game and actually understand what is going on in the game. And as a result of that, many players rushed ahead, completing the main quest line, and then were like, well, there's not enough quests to complete me to level 70. Why is it not letting me go to level 70? That's so stupid. And then they naturally get angry at the game, forgetting the fact that MMOs are designed to be exploratory and you're supposed to go out there and do those side quests as well. It's not all about the one storyline. And I can understand a little bit of this, you know, natural way of thinking because they were used to how Shadowlands worked, right? In Shadowlands, you just did the main story and you could get all the way up. But that was it. Shadowlands lacked story. It only had one big major story, which was the Anima Drought. After that, the story was really vague and a bit confusing to the average person. It's no wonder that Blizzard have still got the BFA storyline as the main storyline for brand new World of Warcraft players. I don't blame them. That's a great idea, to be honest. In terms of, like, strength of the creatures in Dragonlands, I'm just going to call it Dragonlands, okay? Deal with it. Sometimes I'm going to say Dragonlands when I mean Dragonflight. You're just going to have to get over that, okay? You're going to have to just take it. Take that whole issue you've got with me saying Dragonlands instead of Dragonflight, put it in a little pill, and then swallow it, so I don't have to deal with that. Okay? Because it's just gonna happen. Deal with it. The strength in general of these mobs, as I'm fighting, is ridiculously weak. This character was a 291 geared character, and I guess the way that they've designed the game is that level 230 players can have a good time leveling through Dragonflight. Unfortunately to me, that seems a bit silly. And the reason that seems silly to me is because the vast majority of players who've played World of Warcraft have a lot more gear than that. They have a lot more gear than that. So it seems a bit like, you know, everything's just a way too weak. I've not actually struggled once in combat. I don't think I've fallen to 25% health even once, and I'm level 66 now as a warrior in Dragonflight. It's worth noting that the people who I watched get to like level 66 really, really quickly. They're the ones that did the main campaign straight away. But they didn't do any side quests. But then when they got to level 66, they actually kind of roughly struggled because of the simple fact there wasn't much for them to kill. Or there wasn't much quests to actually do. So it's really important noting that I'm level 66 and I haven't even got halfway through the second area. You don't need to rush ahead. You can enjoy this. This game is going to be out for like 3 years. Why are we rushing ahead just completing the one storyline? There's so much to do in Dragonflight. Now, I want to talk about the next thing. Dragon riding. Alright, so I was streaming and a few people came into the chat and they... I don't even know. I'm just going to be brutally honest because I don't know how else to mollycoddle it and make it sound better than it is. They just cried, bitched, and moaned, to be honest. That's really what they did. And I'm not being nasty to them, but genuinely, like, the game has been too basic for a long time. Having something like a mount where you can just, like, stand still and then move forward. It was okay, but it was such a basic version of flying that really did need to be updated. Look at it this way. The bots alone could very easily just use that to farm huge quantities of materials that we could never keep up with, and then we would never ever make gold from that. It was an absolute pain in the butt. So we don't want to be in that situation, right? So my advice to you on that one is just get over it. The dragon flying has changed, and that's all there is. You can't fly like you normally did before because it's a different system. You just have to move on and get over that. Things aren't as easy as they used to be. It's going to be a difficult thing to get your head around initially, but try not to complain because it's something that's a positive thing for this game. It's going to be much harder for bots to be programmed to basically farm all of the materials now. It's going to be a lot more fun for you to fly in general. You're going to actually be more of an active part of the game instead of just an AFK farmer. You know, it's actually going to feel like you have to play the game when you're in the game, which is a lot better. This is also going to mean that the value on herbs and ore in general should be a little bit higher than they typically would have been because it's not so easy for people to AFK farm anymore. They actually have to be somewhat mentally present, which as an MMO game should be a thing. So try not to, you know, cry too much about it because at the end of the day, this is a positive change that Blizzard have made. And moaning about it too much really stops the innovation of Blizzard in general. And that would be a massive, massive shame. Now, I want to quickly say some add-ons that I think you should probably get if you are brand new to Dragonflight. There's only one really that I've used so far, and that is Handy Notes Dragonflight. The reason for that is it just shows everything on the map that I need to access generally, and it's very, very useful. I would especially say, once you've done that, go ahead and get yourself all of the dragon glyphs. These dragon glyphs make it a lot easier to fly your dragon mount, as you can speak to, I believe, the trainer just at this area here. And the trainer will actually allow you to buy basically talents for your dragon, increasing your vigor, increasing your regeneration of vigor, etc, etc. And this just generally is going to be a lot better for you when you are flying on your dragon mount. And the initial dragon mount only has 3 points of vigor, so it's a little bit harder to fly on that. But later on, as you develop that more, it gets a lot easier. It's also quite fun just getting the challenge done of getting all those dragon glyphs, so enjoy that challenge whilst you can. As for professions in Dragonflight, they've changed hugely, and I know a lot of people are going to complain and moan that, you know, they're too complicated or things of this nature. Guys, generally, everything is going to become more clear in time. It's just because it's a brand new type of professions that they're trying to improve upon the old systems. Be patient as you learn. And once you've learned it, you'll appreciate it a lot more. It's just because it's all new information all at once. It's kind of overwhelming you. But try your best not to see it as a negative thing. See it as a positive thing. Because this is generally a real big positive for us. The game's getting slightly more complex. And as a result, will be a lot more fun to deal with. Simple's good, but only to a certain degree. I mean, these quests are pretty simple. We go and kill stuff. We go and help people. These are quite simple quests. They aren't difficult to do. And that's where simplicity is nice. You don't want to be having to look up on Google a quest line because that's just too complicated. You want it to be all-inclusive and basic to understand. And that's what we're trying to aim for here in World of Warcraft. So there we have it, my friends. I really, really hope that you found this video cool. You have some thoughts of your own that you can share in the comment section below, and just generally like you enjoy Dragonflight. Now that absolute diabolical launch is over, we can get back to enjoying the game, which is World of Warcraft, right? And I personally have had an absolute blast playing Dragonflight so far, and I really, really hope you are having a blast as well. Thank you so much for watching this awesome World of Warcraft video. Be sure to hit that like button and click subscribe. If you want to get yourself an awesome t-shirt, then check out QWERTY.com, where you can get a brand new, completely unique design t-shirt. These t-shirts change every single day, and they only last for 2 days on the website before that design disappears. So when you're buying a t-shirt, it's completely unique. They've got really, really good deals on at the moment because of the time that this video releases. And use code Erosium in order to get yourself $1 or €1 or £1 off your order. I'll see you in the next video. This is Erosium, out.